The vast majority of churches in England are dedicated to saints, a custom almost as old as Christianity itself. A much venerated and mysterious 7th century saint was St. Botolph, or Botolph in Old English. St. Botolph is the patron saint of travellers, but it's his reputation as an exorcist that fascinates me the most, and there are more than 70 churches in England dedicated to him, mainly in Lincolnshire and East Anglia. This is St. Botolph's church in the village of Burgh in East Suffolk. It's one of many churches in England dedicated to St. Botolph, who was one of the first East Anglian saints. There has been a church in Burgh since the middle of the Saxon period. This present building dates to the 14th century. St. Botolph was known for his ability to expel devils and demons, and according to legend, the church here at Burgh was built on the home of a terrible water demon that's been immortalised in an epic Anglo-Saxon poem. Out from the marsh, from the foot of misty hills and bogs, bearing God's hatred, Grendel came, hoping to kill anyone he could trap on this trip to High Herod. He moved through the cloudy night, up from his swampland, gliding silently towards that gold-shining hall. He had visited Hrothgar's home before, knew the way, but never before nor after that night found Herod defended so firmly, his reception so harsh. He journeyed forever, joyless, straight to the door, then snapped it open, tore its iron fasteners with a touch, and rushed angrily over the threshold. He strode quickly across the inlaid floor, snarling and fierce. His eyes gleamed in the darkness, burned a gruesome light. This passage from the epic Old English poem Beowulf describes the attack on Herod Hall by the monstrous creature Grendel. Burgh is close to the larger village of Grunsborough, and it's been suggested that the name Grunsborough can be interpreted as the fortress of Grenda or Grendel, and this hill was Grendel's home. In reality, Burgh is the largest Iron Age fortification in Suffolk, but according to local folklore, the creature variously known as Grendel, Scucker or Gallitrot still haunts the area to this day. And later, if you are brave enough to join me, then we will journey to the creature's watery lair. St. Botolph was a Saxon noble who was born in East Anglia. He and his brother Adolf studied on the continent, where they became Benedictine monks. Adolf became a bishop and remained abroad, but Botolph returned to East Anglia, where, after some time, he was granted the rights to build a monastery at a place called Iconhoe, which has been identified as Icon, located by the estuary of the River Alde in Suffolk. This desolate marshland was occupied by devils and demons, and it was here that Botolph gained his reputation as an exorcist. He expelled the demons with the cross of Christ, and according to the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, in AD 654, he began to build a monastery at Iconhoe, the first monastery to be built in East Anglia. The present-day thatched church of St. Botolph's at Icon is mainly 15th century, but parts of the nave possibly date to the 12th century. In 1977, archaeologist Stanley West found a large Anglo-Saxon cross built into the base of the church tower. The cross can be found at the west end of the tower, and it is thought to have formed the lower part of a large decorated stone cross, a marker for Botolph's original church, destroyed by the Vikings in the winter of AD 869. This stone monolith dates from the 9th or early 10th century, and it's decorated with interlaced patterns of wolves. Archaeologist Rosemary Cramp suggests that the cross may have been a memorial to St. Botolph, and the carvings of the wolves are linked with his name. St. Botolph initially attempted to build his monastery on the nearby Yarn Hill, a small wood that sits on the top of a hill near Icon. But he was forced to abandon the project when marsh demons attacked the workers and moved the building materials at night. In truth, it was most likely the local pagans who objected to the siting of the new church, a problem encountered by many early Christian missionaries. To solve the problem, Pope Gregory came to the conclusion that places of heathen worship in England should not be destroyed, but purified from devil worship. With the heathen temples intact and Christianized, it was up to missionaries like St. Botolph to wean the people away from their pagan practices and embrace Christianity. St. Botolph is the patron saint of travellers, and there are many churches close to town and city gates dedicated to him. No one really knows why, but Dr. Sam Newton suggests that as an exorcist of the terrors associated with crossing waters, then like St. Christopher and St. Clement, he would have been one of the venerated saints to whom travellers could pray for protection. One of the most impressive churches dedicated to St. Botolph can be found in the market town of Boston in Lincolnshire. The church has one of the tallest medieval towers in the country, which stands at a height of 266 feet and 9 inches. Affectionately known as the Boston Stump, the tower can be seen for miles around the flat surrounding countryside known as the Fens. Early historians believed that the church was built on the site of a monastery founded by St. Botolph. This desolate area, haunted by devils and demons, was, according to early historians, the place where St. Botolph founded his monastery. But it's generally accepted that the location, as previously mentioned, was Iconhoe or Icon in Suffolk. However, according to local legend, St. Botolph prayed from the top of the tower, and his devotions so angered the devil that his rage caused a constant wind to blow harsh around St. Botolph's tower, even on the calmest day. The name Boston is a contraction of St. Botolph's town, or Botwolph's stone, and emigrants from Boston in Lincolnshire named other settlements around the world after the town, most notably Boston, Massachusetts in America. St. Botolph's association with devils and demons is evident at St. Botolph's Church, Skidbrook, a remote hamlet in the Lincolnshire marshlands. This long, redundant 13th century church, nicknamed the Demon Church, is reputed to be one of the most haunted churches in England. Evidence has been found of occult ceremonies and animal sacrifices have been left in the church, but if you want to know more, then watch my video, The Demon Church of Skidbrook. According to an account written in the 11th century by Fulcard, then abbot of Thorney Abbey in Cambridgeshire, when Botwolph arrived at Iconhoe to found his monastery, he disturbed the marsh demons and the place breathed out a most acrid black smoke. Fulcard's account is similar to the 8th century Vita Sancti Guthlac, the life of St. Guthlac of Crowland in Lincolnshire. According to a monk named Felix, when Guthlac landed at Crowland, which was then a wild and desolate island rising up out of the fens, he decided to build his hermitage in the burial chamber of an old barrow. But first, he had to fight the many demons inhabiting the marshlands. The marsh demons were in fact the product of foul-smelling marsh gases producing the flame-like phosphorescence known as will-o'-the-wisp. In superstitious times, will-o'-the-wisps were attributed to ghosts and evil spirits said to use their lights to lure travellers into treacherous marshes. In all probability, St Botolph and St Guthlac had the marshes drained, thus eliminating the foul marsh gas with its will-o'-the-wisps. So Botolph became revered for his ability to expel ghosts and demons from the bleak, misty marshlands. The fear of terrifying creatures prowling the watery wastelands was very real in Anglo-Saxon times. And here at St Botolph's in Berg, the home of the terrifying Grendel from Beowulf, the legend of a water demon still persists. The creature haunts the fields around the church, but prefers to lurk in a boggy area overlooking the River Lark. In particular, a place called Bath Slough in the parish of Berg. This is the Gull, and in times of flooding, water cascades here. It's also said to be the haunt of a terrifying water monster known as the Gallitrot, which takes the form of a gigantic white hound. The creature is said to be as big as a bullock and gives chase to anyone it sees. It seems to be a variant of the Black Shuck legend prevalent here in East Anglia. Just hope it doesn't creep up on me. In his article, The Forgotten History of St Botolph, a must-read for anyone interested in the subject, Sam Newton suggests that the name Gallitrot might derive from the East Anglian dialect word gull, meaning a small ravine cut by a fast-flowing stream. And the description certainly fits this place. He also notes the similarities between Beowulf's Grendel and the Black Shuck of local folklore. For such an important saint, very little is known about the life of St Botolph. According to Folcard, he died in the year 680 and was buried in the minster he himself had constructed at Aachen. The monastery continued to prosper for 2 centuries, until it was destroyed by the Vikings in the winter of 869. To prevent Botolph's remains from being destroyed by the Norse invaders, King Edgar gave permission for them to be taken to Berg, where they were enshrined for more than 50 years. Eventually, his remains were divided into 3 parts and transferred again to Thorney Abbey in Cambridgeshire, although his head was taken to Ely and the remainder to Westminster Abbey. It's thought that because St Botolph's relics were taken from place to place, his name became associated with travellers and wayfarers. This is St Botolph's by Bargate in my home city of Lincoln, and because St Botolph is the patron saint of travellers, like many churches dedicated to him, it's situated close to the city gates. In this case, the main south road heading out of the city. It's a good place to end this video, so if you are still watching, then thank you for joining me on my little adventure. Season's greetings, and please join me again next time.